Welcome to homework.
Alrighty, so here we're repeating 25, but finding the least common multiple. So for A, we'll let our two numbers A be 3 to the power of 7 times 5 to the power of 3 times 7 to the power of 3. And our second one is 2 to the power of 11 times 3 to the power of 5 times 5 to the power of 9. Okay, so to find the least common multiple of these two, we'll take the things that they don't have in common. So first of all, we're going to look at the prime factors they don't share, right? So we have a 2 and the 7, so we'll just take those as they are. 2 to the power of 11 times 7 to the power of 3. Now for the ones they do share, we're kind of doing the opposite as the greatest common divisor. So we'll take 3, but instead of taking it to the minimum, power of the minimum, we're going to take it instead to the maximum. Okay, so the maximum of, in this case, 5 and 7. We'll do the same thing for the other shared divisor here. So that's, I should go ahead of myself. We want the maximum of 9 and 3. Okay, so we multiply this out. It's going to be 2 to the power of 11 times 7 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 7 times 5 to the power of 9. So if you really want to write that out, 3, 0, 0, 0, 5, 6, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I might instead just leave it in the other form there. Okay, so for part B, we'll have our two numbers. A is equal to 11 times 13 times 17. B is equal to 2 to the power of 9 times 3 to the power of 7 times 5 to the power of 5 times 7 to the power of 3. And with these two, the greatest common divisor is 1. So the least common multiple of A and B is just going to be equal to A times B, right? So it's going to be 2 to the power of 9 times 3 to the power of 7 times 5 to the power of 5 times 7 to the power of 3 times 11 times 13 times 17. So for C, we'll have A is equal to 23 to the power of 31, and B was equal to 23 to the power of 17. So just like in part A, we'll take the shared prime factor, which is 23, and we'll take that to the power of the maximum of their powers, right? So that's going to be the maximum of 31 and 17. So in this case, we get 23 to the power of 31. D is sort of a special case where A is equal to 41 times 43 times 53, okay, which is also equal to B. Now we'll do the same thing we did before. Least common multiple of these two is going to be equal to the shared factors with the maximum exponent, right? But the exponents are the same. Okay, so you really just end up with, since we're not picking or choosing, we're just copying it, right? So it is equal to A or B there. And this one is not too obnoxious to actually multiply out. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's 93,439. All right, so we're getting near the end. E for those two is 3 to the power of 13 times 5 to the power of 17, and B is 2 to the power of 12 times 7 to the power of 21. Now these ones, the greatest common divisor was 1, right? They don't share any of the prime factors, and so the least common multiple is going to be just equal to their product. So we get 2 to the power of 12 times 3 to the power of 13 times 5 to the power of 17 times 7 to the power of 21. And lastly, for f, where a was equal to 1, 1, 1, 1, and the least common multiple was equal to 0, I'm sorry, b was equal to 0. I'm getting tongue-tied here. The least common multiple is only defined for integers greater than 0. Okay, and since b is equal to 0, this means that the least common multiple is going to be undefined.